Hello everyone and welcome to Wrestling Ramblings. This is episode 13. I am Terry Speller, the wrestling superfan. So yeah, the road to WrestleMania is getting shorter and shorter. They are really trying with the Brock Lesnar versus Undertaker thing, with lots of back and forth promos. One thing I don't like is they have slugged it out a few times. There was the Penn incident, and I believe, and also they've had a bit of a punch up recently as well during the promos. But each time Taker has always got the upper hand. Is it just me, or is this making Lesnar look weak leading up into the match? And don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mess with Lesnar at all. And when he was first in WWE, I was a huge Lesnar fan. I mean, he was my favourite guy, in all fairness, for a long time. Then I was over the moon when he came back, and when he returned and F5 Cena, that was fantastic, and the Raw that it happened on just went nuts. But then after that, he's just been meh. I mean, I remember the match against Cena the match that led on from the F5 between him and Cena. And it only took Cena one attitude adjustment on some steps, and Cena won, and everything Lesnar did throughout the entire match was undone. And Lesnar, who was looking unstoppable, just started looking like, well, it only takes someone's finisher, and to be honest with you, everyone knows that the attitude adjustment isn't exactly the most powerful or inspiring finisher to end him. So then it's all been really meh ever since with Lesnar. He still is a monster and a badass, but when it comes to the big matches, I never feel that Lesnar will win, as he's just the part-time guy. And at the moment, this WrestleMania 30 match with Taker is feeling a little like the Mark Henry versus Undertaker match from WrestleMania 22. Just filler, really. I'm looking forward to the Shield match, and I'm also looking forward to Cena versus Bray Wyatt. They're going to be quite cool. I'm kind of looking forward to the Daniel Bryan versus Triple H match, but not sure if that's going to live up to what I would like it to be. So I'm a bit meh. I'm worried the Andre Battle Royal will end up just being a gimmick fest and not have any real impact. But then it does have Hogan involved, so we're kind of seeing that anyway. And Hogan got into it with a few guys recently as well, so he's kind of showing that he can still mix it up with the roster. Could it end up as Hogan versus Piper as the last two in the ring? Could we see a rematch of the century, brother? Who knows? We shall see. Right, I did say last week I would talk about who I think could end Taker's streak. I do apologise if anyone can hear that in the background. That is my son. He seems to have woken up. But anyway. Who I think should end Taker's streak? Well, it would need to be someone who is ready and able to carry the company, and also be prepared to take 100% heat from everyone. Everyone in the world. Also, he will be the biggest bad guy / heel on Earth at that point. And it would need to be done right. It couldn't just be it would have to be a long-term thing. It couldn't be just a heel turn that was forgotten about in a few weeks. As beating Undertaker would make this person the number one bad guy forever. And he will go down in history as the guy who beat the streak as well. And he would be... I don't think you could step back from being that guy who ended something as legendary as Undertaker's WrestleMania streak. So it would have to be someone who you'd have to invest in this guy being the bad guy. Now, this is completely out of left field, and I'll probably get some hate mail for this, but I think John Cena would be a good choice. Reason 1, we all want him to be a heel anyway. Reason 2, he worked better as an arsehole rapper than when he first appeared, in most wrestling fans' eyes, than he is now. Because he was a bad guy, he could cheat to win. You didn't have to rely on having any technical ability, which Cena doesn't really have. Reason 3, beating Taker would just be a huge shock, and those that boo him would be happy that Cena had changed. However, they would hate him even more for being the guy who ended Taker's streak. Reason 4, he can carry the company and has done for years. He's also very good at playing to the crowd, and the boos and the hate he gets is really water off a duck's back to him. Anyone who's a wrestling fan can remember the Hammerstein Ballroom match with RVD at ECW One Night Stand 2, where he literally came out and it was visceral. It was horrible. They hated him. The fact that he was stepping into an ECW ring surrounded by ECW fans and ECW originals, he was hated. And what was hilarious to watch was every time he threw his shirt into the ring, like he does so many times, into the crowd so many times, every time he threw it out, someone threw it back in the ring. And he just sucked it up and he carried on. I don't think he's a very good wrestler, and his gimmick bores the crap out of me, but as a money maker and as a person, he seems like a nice, fairly decent guy. Apparently, behind the scenes, he seems like a good guy, and also he's a company man. So yeah. Reason 5, for him to be the heel, it's going to upset a lot of kids and children. But what better way to put that full stop on him being a good guy than him beating the legendary streak? That would be the full stop, the nail in the coffin, no going back. There's no way a child is going to be like, oh, but you see now, I grew up loving him and stuff like that. He would literally, that would be it. That would be the turning point. People would go from loving him to hating him. Yeah, I know people will be hating this, and probably me, but who else could you see winning against The Undertaker at Mania? I mean, who on the roster right now has that kind of unstoppable, that feel of being a top guy who could be the risk to Taker? Brock Lesnar isn't feeling it at the moment. We've had Triple H 3 times now. We had Shawn Michaels twice. There really isn't anyone who is on par with him. You could bring The Rock back to do it, but then what's that to gain for anyone? The same as if you brought Steve Austin back. It wouldn't make any difference. You could argue that you could turn around and say, "Frig it, Hulk Hogan can do it," but still, no. It just there's no one who is. You would need a full-time guy to beat the Undertaker. Otherwise, it just ain't gonna work. If you have a part-time beating a part-time, then it's null and void. Doesn't matter. It just means that everyone else who is there busting their ass off every day at WWE isn't as good as the part-time guys who come back and wrestle every couple of months at the big pay-per-views. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. With Cena, even though I don't like the guy's wrestling gimmick, I think if he beat Taker, it would mean something, because it would be the next. Because in all fairness, let's be honest. He's been in the company now 10, 12 years, Cena, and he's done a lot, and he's bound to be in the Hall of Fame and classed as an all-time great just because of the popularity that he's had with the kids and what he's done. So for him not to be that guy who beats Taker, I don't know. The only other way to do it would be keep him as a face and have Undertaker go heel. But at the same time, that would mean Undertaker would have to work full time to get that heelness and get that character over. I don't think Undertaker can do that anymore. I love the Undertaker. He's a legend. But in all fairness, I don't think he's got much left in the tank, hence why he only comes back once a year now. And even though he's the marquee effect, that won't last forever. Sooner or later, he needs to hang up his boots and retire, because that one match is that's not going to cut it anymore. Anyway, that was my little rant, like I promised. Southwest stuff now, and CSF Wrestling had a great show on at the Winter Gardens in Weston-super-Mare. Now, CSF are a fantastic promotion that's been going for years, and they must be one of the biggest companies in the Southwest at the moment, selling out huge halls at every show. And if anyone's been to the Winter Gardens, it looks amazing. It's such a nice building. They've got tickets for their next huge live event, Sunday Night Showdown, are available from their website or box office. The box office number is 01373 455 420. Website is www.csfwrestling.co.uk. The event will feature former WWE superstar Masterpiece Chris Masters and ROH/Lucha Libre USA star RJ Brewer. Sunday, May 25th, Cheese and Grain in Frome, Somerset. Doors open 5:30. Also appearing on this show will be Team H8, James Baker, Odysseia, Scotty Essex, Zach Garrett, and All Nations champion Nathan Bain. But back to the show that has just been. This was on the 22nd of March, this past Saturday. All my sources have said it was a great night, and my Fantastic Four were in action. However, they were against each other, well, 2 against 2. Tyler Hawk made his debut there, and as far as I've been told, it was well received and very much liked by the fans, and also backstage as well. Their tag match was a highlight and really was something to see. In fact, I'm lucky enough to have the footage, and part 2 of this show, yes, this is going to be a 2-parter, will be just that match in its entirety with me on commentary. The owner of CSF has given me permission to do this, so a huge thank you to him and everyone backstage at CSF. Ultimate Pro Wrestling will have their debut show live in Weymouth at the Riviera Hotel, and promises to be an action-packed night of entertainment. And it will feature Andy Boy Simmons, Jake McCluskey, Chuck Cyrus, the brothers Bruce Sterling, Charlestown, and Marcus Graves. More names will be revealed, so keep checking their Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Ultimate Pro Wrestling. Tickets are £7 for adults and £5 for children. The tickets available now from the Riviera Hotel on the door on the night. Right, remember there is still LEP coming on April 12th at the Paignton Methodist Church in Paignton, which will be a great night. Please hurry and get your tickets ASAP, as you will have missed out on a true classic night of action for you and all your family. International sensation Red Eagle will be making his LEP debut, and also Robbie Devonshire will be defending his Southwest Championship. Also in action will be Danny Walsh and Chris Marvel, so that is all worth the ticket price alone. Go to www.lepwrestling.co.uk for more info. So yeah, and you're going to see my Fantastic Four there. What's not to like about that? Also, there's a special hype. I've got a special here. We've got a special hype teaser trailer for the massive PWA show at the Guildhall in Plymouth on May the 4th. I'll be showing that near the end. Featuring, deep breath, John St. John, guest announcer, a huge pre-show battle royal, the start of a tag team tournament that will finish at next year's anniversary show, Chris Andrews versus TNA's Gunner, PJ Jones versus the Cowboy James Storm, UK Dominator versus Soldier Boy Steve Prince in a chain match, Eddie Ryan takes on Chris Marvel for the PWA Heavyweight Championship, and this all takes place after the day-long DevCon convention. And relax. You need to hurry up, people, and get tickets, because the front 2 rows have already been totally sold out. This isn't me just making stuff up. It has literally, the first 2 rows have sold out. There's still standard tickets, and there's still balcony tickets. However, these are also selling out fast, so you need to buy them ASAP. Go to www.pwaonline.info for all your information and to buy tickets. You really do need to see this show. May 4th is going to be epic. It's got, as far as inside sources tell me, and forgive me, the promoter, if this is going against anything, as far as I'm aware, there could be up to 7-8 matches. I don't quote me on this, there might be only 6, I don't know, but as far as I'm aware, there is going to be a hell of a lot of matches, and it's going to be a night to remember. And you've also got me doing some some announcing, but I know I'm going to be announcing John St. John, which is going to be a classic thing. Yeah, it's just going to be off the hook and something you need to get your ass down and see. So yeah, ladies and gents, this has been part 1. See you again soon for part 2, which is going to be awesome. The tag match, so part 2 will be the tag match at CSF in the Winter Gardens from March 22nd, featuring Danny Walsh, Mark Walsh teaming up as Pretty Marvellous versus Robbie Britannia, aka Robbie Devonshire, and Tyler Hawk. Until next time, until then, I shall see you then, and bye for now.